G'day guys, today I'm going to show you the easy way to draw a vampire. You're going to need a pencil, paper, an eraser, and a Sharpie to go over your sketch with. Let's go! Let's get started. But first, if you want to learn the fast and easy way, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell. Let's begin! Now, a great way to start, as always, is the head. So we're going to draw a balloon shape. Okay, so gently with your pencil, because we're going to rub this out quite soon when we go over it with our Sharpie. So just gently draw the shape of a balloon. That's going to be the head, okay? So just come around, a little bit pointier at the bottom than it is at the top, and then down that balloon, let's just draw a straight line right down the middle, almost like you're cutting it in half. And then we're going to carry on a bit further than the balloon to about here, and then draw a line across. That's going to be the waist, and this bit here is the body. And then for the legs, I'm going to draw them a little bit curved this time, just to make him look a bit more menacing, a bit more interesting, because it's a vampire after all. So just drawing the legs out just a little bit, and then a little bit further down, and then some wedge shapes for the feet, okay? Just like that. Okay, so these are all just guidelines. We're going to draw over these in just a moment. And then for the arms, I'm going to draw... let's draw some shoulders, actually. There's a line across there, just underneath the balloon. And then some lines coming out. Okay. Right, now let's start again with the head. I'm going to return to here. So, let's start with some eyes. Either side of the line down the middle of the balloon, we're going to draw some eyes. These are tall ovals, just like this. Again, very gently. We're not going to keep all of these lines. They're just kind of there to help us decide what we're going to draw and how we're going to draw it. So just some ovals either side of the line. It's kind of like a line of symmetry, this, down the middle. And then a long pointy nose in between, and then back to the eyes. I'm going to draw them kind of half closed, so I'm going to draw diagonal lines down each of them, so it's half closed and kind of like he's frowning. And then on the inside of each eye, a pupil, and the pupil obviously is hidden by a part of the eye that's closed here. So let's just draw the mouth. I'm going to draw an open smile just under the nose, like that. So just curve it under where we drew the long point of the nose. And let's draw the mouth open, so we're just going to come down like this. And that's where our guideline in the middle comes really handy, because it helps us to know what it should look like on each side. It should look more or less symmetrical. Let's draw some fangs for that mouth. Okay, because what is a vampire without fangs, right? And here's a tongue, just a curve that comes up from the bottom of the mouth and goes across like that. Now let's get some ears. Now looking at where you drew your eyes, we're just going to go across to the left, like this, and just draw some ears in. So vampire ears are usually quite pointy, because what do vampires turn into? They turn into bats. Almost every vampire you've ever heard of, it turns into a bat, and bats have pointy ears. So the human vampire is not going to be any different. So I'm just going to draw a curve here for the curve of the ear, the way the ear folds. And now the hair. So I'm just going to come away from the ear like this, and then follow my guideline round. I'm going to get to about this point. I'm going to bring it back down to the middle and give him what's called a widow's peak. That's where your hair is kind of pointy in the middle. It's quite common, and a lot of vampires have that. So we're just going to follow that around back to the other ear. Now his hair's looking a little bit thin, so I'm going to add a bit more. So this guideline, like I said, it's only a guideline. So I'm going to add a bit more by just coming away from the ear like this. Just add some curves here. There's his crown. And then just thickening out the hair a little bit with some gentle strokes. Don't worry too much about your lines being a little bit off at this stage, because it doesn't matter, they're just pencils. Now we're going to draw his big collar, a big kind of spiky collar coming away from the side of the head like this. And then it comes back, and let's just finish it here, okay? And the same on the other side. It comes out, and then comes back. Try and get a nice subtle curve for that one. Now we're leaving this space in the middle on purpose, because we're about to add, I think it's called a cuff. It kind of looks like some napkins. So starting here, on the left side of his chin, let's just draw 3 curves like this. It kind of looks like a duck's foot. And we come up here, some wrinkles in there, and then just one underneath it. He's a very, very well dressed fellow. Most vampires are. So we're just going to give him a couple of cuffs like that. Now let's go for those arms, because we can actually start here and here to draw those arms. So starting with his left arm, let's just go right under that big collar, and then I'm going to draw a cuff for the wrist, and then I'm going to come back up and draw the rest of the arm like this. I'm going to stop shortly before I get to the cuff, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. So just a curve coming out, then a cuff like this, and I'm going to bring the line back in towards the torso and stop when I get to about there. Speaking of the torso, we might as well finish that off. I'm going to bend it in and then out, just to make him look very slender. Most vampires are quite thin looking, so let's do that. Let's go for that kind of look. Now a couple of buttons right in the center of the torso, just two, doesn't need much more than that. And to round off the torso, just continuing on from here, let's draw a triangle going down, and then getting to this point where all the lines intersect here, okay? Let's just do the same on the other side so you can see that again. So just coming down here, another triangle, and it meets here, so we should have kind of like a star shape here. Now just to finish off the shirt, I'm going to carry on from this line a bit, and then draw up towards the cuffs. And that shows that the shirt's got buttons on it and is actually fastened correctly. Now let's go for those legs. We're going to follow the guidelines we drew, just kind of follow them down, just make them thicker than just a kind of like a stick shape. And then the shoe, again, I'm going to follow the curve down, but at the end I'm going to curve it up like that, just so it looks a little bit more eccentric. And then when you get to the bottom of the shoe, just sketch across to the edge of your guideline. We should finish here, which is just a bit to the right of this guideline that we drew earlier. And then I'm going to go back up and coming away from my guideline a little bit so that I can draw the bit here where the legs join and go across to the other side. So we're going to basically do what we just did, but backwards. You can do it the same way around if you like, if it's a bit easier. But I think it gives a better sense of symmetry if you just kind of come around this way and do it that way. So let's go back up here, following the guideline down, and then to here, follow the foot along, and then curve up the tip there. And then just draw the bottom of the shoe, make sure it all meets up. Now here and here, we need to make sure that the bottom of the trousers, bottom of his pants, meets the top of the shoe. There we go, nice and easy. So just some hands. You realise we've got no hands yet, so let's start with this side. I'm going to draw a thumb coming straight out, and some of the palm, and then from there some fingers coming out. Just 3 thick sausages. If you have any trouble drawing hands at all, I have actually done a tutorial on how to draw hands. I'll put that in a card up in the corner. It should appear now. So if you want to learn how to draw hands, that's a great way to do it. I'll show you 3 different ways of drawing hands there. But I'm just kind of doing the same technique here. So an open palm, a thumb kind of sticking out at a right angle, and then 3 fingers. Now we're actually almost done with our sketch. I'm going to draw in his cape now. So you want to start from here, just under the arm, okay? We're going to draw a big swooping cape that comes out, and then finish about here. And now this is the fun bit, we get to draw some zigzags. Okay, make sure that cape is nice and spiky looking, because it's a vampire after all. I'm going to draw a little M shape under here, M for mother. And I'm going to carry on that big spiky cape this way. I'm going to finish about here. It might be easier for you to kind of start here and then meet where you finished your big spiky cape at the bottom. Meet there. Okay, now let's just add some eyebrows to make him look extra menacing. So above each eye, just kind of a sausage shape above each one. You can kind of draw the eyebrows as thick or as thin as you like. Doesn't really matter, it's your vampire at the end of the day. You can give him no eyebrows if you want. But there we go, just 2 steep angled eyebrows like that. And there we go, we're going to go over the lines you want to keep with a Sharpie, and we're going to have a look at how this turns out. Go over the lines that you want to keep with a Sharpie, and then when it's dry, rub out the pencil markings, and you should end up with something a little like this. If you want to continue to learn to draw the quick and easy way, then subscribe to make sure you never miss a tutorial. Have you got any suggestions? Leave me a comment below if there's something you'd like me to teach you to draw. In the meantime, click the link in the corner now to get to my playlist of how to draw Halloween characters. Until next time.